بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين مع بعض. American Christian Zionists media initiatives aimed at influencing public opinion with a brief mention of the concept of Greater Israel, November 15, 2024. Abdullahi Jalo, عقيدة creed and belief. أي نعم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Allah the Exalted said, وَإِذَا قُلْتُمْ فَعَدِلُوا وَلَوْ كَانَ ذَا قُرْبَى. And when you testify, be just even if it concerns a near relative. When you testify by way of a statement to judge between people, differentiate between them in a discourse, and speak regarding matters and circumstances, be just in your speech, adhere to truthfulness regarding those you love and those you hate. Be fair and not conceal what needs to be made clear, because it is forbidden and tantamount to injustice to divert from justice and fairness when speaking against the one you hate. This article presents an excerpt from the research conducted by a Muslim researcher on the socialization of media by Christian Zionists, particularly within the United States. The author briefly addresses the financial resources accessible to the organizations, individuals and groups involved in this initiative, as well as the relationship between the ideologies of Christian Zionists and political dynamics. It also examines the degree to which these individuals have succeeded in supporting those Zionists ascribed to Judaism who perceive Palestine as a divinely promised land. Additionally, the author references a Christian Zionist who advocates for the concept of a Greater Israel, which extends to Saudi Arabia, grounded in the abrogated extrajudicial interpretations. It is important to acknowledge that the organization referenced by the author may have undergone changes or been merged with or acquired by other entities. Consequently, it can be challenging to pinpoint the current status of a specific organization and its ownership compared to its original state when the researcher initiated the study. Nevertheless, it is a well-established fact that the activities of American Christian Zionists and their backing of the successive administrations preceding Netanyahu are well recognized to this day. Furthermore, it is important to note that this article solely reflects the author's research findings regarding some organizations and does not serve as a guide for addressing the agenda of Christian Zionists. Instead, it is left to the senior scholars and their senior students to guide the Ummah in choosing a path aligned with the sound methodologies of the Prophet to counter the misguided nations propagated by various fabricated or propagated religions. Moreover, this article does not imply that all American Christians are involved in the activities or erroneous beliefs associated with Christian Zionism. It is also essential for us as a Muslim to follow the guidance of scholars regarding peaceful coexistence and equitable interactions with non-Muslim neighbors. American Christian Zionist media initiatives and negotiation public opinion in Israel. Economic and social landscape and the present or settlement of projected decisions and this motion from the concept of Israel and the state of the American theory. Elder said the media and activities serve as one of the most significant and serious avenues for the dissemination and promotion of ideas. Essentially, it can afford university programs structure and the going beyond the nation where the communication channels are employed. The many languages encompassing official magazine and educational platforms such as Facebook transcended international borders. Especially contemporary times, the people in the Spanish and English language systems have historical effects in the world and in the media field, where there is the establishment of profession or the position of intellectual and commercial people. Consequently, the media has evolved into a powerful instrument for Zionist Christian influence in the areas agencies dominate the dissemination of information globally, and it is widely recognized that news significantly shape public opinion, influencing both the languages and the substance of the content. Cinemas and film production entities play a significant role in the dissemination of ideas. It is possible that the lectures, seminars, and speeches aimed at providing guidance across various platforms are more extensively utilized by Christian Zionists to promote their beliefs. Furthermore, articles, interviews, and analysis featured in newspapers and magazines effectively influence public opinion and persuade individuals regarding their intended messages. In addition, books and published pamphlets represent crucial mediums for communication alongside the influence of scientific theories and philosophical concepts. Many people are attracted to these theories and novel concepts, which is why Christian Zionism sought to use them as an effective tool for disseminating its ideas. Whether they were among those who created these theories and ideas or among those who wrote their waves of popularity. As a result, theories put forth by John Locke John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Pascal Blaise, Immanuel Kant, even Isaac Newton, and Joseph Priestley are among some of the most significant approaches that help propagate Christian Zionism and its ideas. Also, Zionist beliefs and people's adherence to them were greatly led by poets and other authors. Allah understand. They Allah destroy the Zionists, they destroy the Muslim lands. Christian Zionism influence is evident in how it uses the following strategies. Neogens as the primary source of information on global events that other media use. They can choose to spotlight a story by covering it, except in newspapers and other media, or they can choose to hide and obfuscate it. Propaganda media, there is no doubt that the main news agencies are responsible for any media hype that attracts attention, mobilize supporters, and raise morale while weakening enemies and transferring the battle to a global atmosphere in which there are opportunities for progress and solution. Theodore Herzl said, "Hype is everything, and the truth is that hype leads to great actions." In the Zionist protocols, it is stated that the Zionists must influence the Zionist government through public opinion, which they have created through the greatest force, namely the press, which is worthless except in exceptional cases and within their reach, the visible church. Christian Zionism makes significant use of visual and audio propaganda means to promote its principles and ideas and to reach as many people as possible through television programs and radio speeches. These methods are known as the electronic church, the visual church, or religion at prime time. The visual church and its program have an impact since the majority of its viewers are adults aged before 40 and over. In particular, this age group comprises the largest and wealthiest electoral bloc in the United States of America, and it is often important to competing politicians in various election campaigns. The fundamentalist church's call and influence extended beyond the walls of its building to millions of people through television screens, satellite, and airwaves, where they preached, Christianized, guided, and educated on Zionist ideas that were meant to be conveyed to the people. The first person to use the term visible church was journalist Gene Montgomery in an article in the Wall Street Journal on May 1998, and since that time, this expression has been used. The percentage of viewers of the visual church is statistic for the year 1985 amounted to something nearly 40% of television viewers in general. Visible churches have a substantial financial resources, but possibly most importantly, they rely on contributions from the members, watchers, and supporters. Because of this, the visual church was developed into a lucrative industry thanks to fundraising efforts through which show programs that address social, political, and artistic concerns rather than just religious preaching. As to the figures in 1985, the Christian radio network had approximately $23 million in resources to reach the greatest number of viewers and listeners. The network of visual church stations has grown significantly, and it is now spread among hundreds of radio and television stations in America. They don't just broadcast their programs on their network of radio and television stations they own. Instead, they buy time slots on other popular stations, pick the best ones to watch, and broadcast their programs enough times to draw in more listeners and viewers. As a result, the way Americans think and behave become little influenced by the visible church. Because of the significant and effective influence, this enormous intellectual house was called the Fifth Estate, while the press was called the Fourth Estate. The relevant statistics show that more than half of Americans watch one or more religious programs at least once a month. According to the Google Institute, 52 million Americans watch one or more video church programs on a monthly basis in 1981. 1983, the number is 60 million people, according to another estimate released by religious radio organization. The number of weekly viewers of the church video programs reached 25 million in 1984. Whatever the number is, whenever the number is certain that the number of listeners and viewers of these programs, as well as those influenced by them, has grown rapidly, and the fairness of these programs who have become its authors and presented are visible stars. In American daily life, the church videos programs attract different ages of people, including children. According to one statistic, children watching the program an hour from the old gospel by the Zionist pastor Jerry Falwell considered 30% of its total viewers. According to a study conducted by companies releasing radio and television statistics called Nelson Viewer Composition, viewers of church video programs are men, women, and children, and some of them may be better at attracting women than others. According to a 1980 poll conducted by Christianity Today magazine in collaboration with the Gallup Institute, 80% of watchers and listeners of visual churches become just after previously not being so. This is because of the programs of Zionist evangelists, which complies that the capacities of these churches, both organizational and technical, are advanced and have a significant economic impact, as well as on their listeners and viewers. Aina. The audio-visual church has helped the Christian Zionist doctrine spread further than its previous supporters, and the church has succeeded in convincing many Americans that its ideas present the majority of American public opinion, which are ideas and readings of the contemporary political, economic, and social condition in light of Old Testament text. It evaluates the world and its events in light of the Christological prophecies. The majority of visible churches supports Christian Zionist ideals and principles, as promoted by the proponent of fundamentalist Christianity. As a result, the rejection of biblical prophecy to Israel, the second coming of Christ, the gathering of Jews in Palestine, the battles of Har Majorun, and other Zionist beliefs and ideas are central to these church programs, both visual and audio. These visual and audio programs likewise portray Israel as sacred base, or not is mentioned in their Holy Bible, especially in the Old Testament. This belief is usually reinforced through political protest offered by the speaker in the program, supporting the Jewish state Israel as an implementation of the Lord's word. Majority of churchmen have the ability to influence because they are specialists in the field of media and mass communication sciences. In addition to being familiar with theology, which increases the strength of the impact of their programs, especially since it goes beyond preaching, guidance, and education to constitutions, personal and political relationships, social and sometimes even physical therapy. Issues of church programs are growing increasingly popular in the United States of America, and it's difficult to stop their growth. According to 1985 figures, the number of television network stations for the visual church surpassed by 1,500 religious radio stations was projected to number over 1,400, with each broadcasting roughly 17 hours per day. Allah musta'an. 37 of those programs were time for preaching and religious guidance, and 12 for news interviews. In recent years, their reliance on satellite to broadcast their programs has grown, and it is estimated that half of these stations are satellites. The National Religious Broadcast Association, which is an association that includes more than 70% of the Christian Zionist television and radio station in the United States of America, and was founded in 1944, indicating its status that it has 1,000 television and radio stations involved in its activity, and is also estimated that the number of listeners to the radio stations and members reaches 151 million listeners weekly, and nearly 50 million people are members of visible churches. The most important media stations for Christian Zionism at the time this research was conducted. There are numerous Christian Zionist media outlets, some of which are listed below. CBN station, owned by Christian Zionist patriarchs from the Sun of Queens Province in Virginia Center from Virginia. It was a yellow school building built as a 1,000 billboard. It runs affirmation to information. The location from New School of History apart in Virginia Beach neighborhood. Students 2 million to 2 million in academic and 1968. The family club group television station and radio station. And television also came on the logo. This is a very significant celebrate with the river celebration channel. This is a from Lebanon Saudi and animation system and become half daily news from the Saudi news. I your references is presented in a Zionist Christian channel on Facebook and 27.1 billion viewers. But relatives don't study the view that the family of the release of Rainbow is British and the side of the changing data from avoiding and the social channel express meaning the good stance of the Saudi government in the south of the terrorist act and the respect of the great Allah the Israel the Arab and the Saudi Arabia right and the freedom of the blessed Muhammad to this revealed in Ayat is very simple and very simple which is the real end of the Quran news. This is a real historian and the religion of Catholicism the image of the state other but otherwise not. That was what is literally around by the constitution version news forward based on data from ancient Egypt. The second most popular Christian theorist television station is in Korea. It is a public station that is viewed by local people very mostly. The Zion Better Show is American third most popular Christian Zionist station. It's followed with Better is followed with Zionist Catholic television station Better Conservative station in the country. Iowa Hill station is independent and ranks 18 in the country. Annual financial are expected to be $100 million. All number stations owned by Christian Zionist state programs which is not replaced for full pay contingent value. It's not replaced in the interpretation of the episode. And making the delivery is not of the last meeting. The National Christian Company was purchased by the Zionist priest Jerry Farwell and its name changed to Daily Freedom Broadcasting. It operated from Lynchburg, Virginia, and offers religious programming 24 hours a day. Its owner, Jerry Ford, a close friend of former U.S. President George W. Bush, أي نعم, George H.W. Bush frequently asserted through his station that the establishment of Israel among fundamentalist Christians is a fulfillment of biblical prophecies, and every American must make every effort to ensure full support for Israel. He also states that the Torah's book of Genesis declares that Israeli borders will extend from the Euphrates to the Nile, and the promised territory, including Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, Sudan, Lebanon, Jordan, and Kuwait. Subhanallah. You see, it includes all these countries: Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, Sudan, Lebanon, Jordan, Kuwait, and the Jews should not stop until they take all these countries. They started with the Palestine. They took part of Syria. Now they want to take Lebanon. Next is this country. The Kiswahili says, yani ukiona mwenzako ananyolewa yako tie maji. If you see the hair of your brother being shaved, yours put water. And it is a Kiswahili proverb. The station of the Zionist priest Kenneth Copeland, he is a fanatic of the dispensationalist sect, one of the sect of Christian Zionism. This program, which reached more than 4.92 million families, he often says God established modern Israel. We are watching God's move for Israel. It is a great time to start supporting a government as long as it supports Israel. It is a wonderful time to feel how connected we are to the roots of Abraham. It also focuses station's progress on the battle of Armageddon, the return of Christ, and other principles of Christian Zionism. Richard D. Hahn's Christian Zionist station had religious programs to transmit the beliefs and principles of Zionism Christianity for over 4.75 million homes. Zionist station or Red Hubbard. He was one of the fanatics of the dispensationalist sect. His station broadcast reaches more than 3.7 million households. He used to repeat that God knew from the very beginning that we the ones who live today, will destroy the earth. Voice of Hope is a Christian Zionist station that was founded by George Otis, a friend of former U.S. President Ronald Reagan. It's a radio station in southern Lebanon that was founded on September 9, 1979 with the collaboration and encouragement of the Jewish Israeli government after Israel invaded and occupied southern Lebanon in the summer of 1978. George Otis, the station's original owner, spoke about Israel's role in its establishment. Israeli support was a miracle. Did you ever believe the day will arrive when the Jews wanted to establish a Christian station? After a few months, George Otis launched a visual station alongside his audio station, naming it Star of Hope, and it is sometimes referred to as Middle East television. Pat Robertson, a Zionist pastor, later bought this station. According to reports, more than 100 American Zionist Christians attended the March 7, 1910 opening ceremony of the new headquarters of the Voice and Star of Hope, the station in the presence of the commander of the Israeli occupation forces in southern Lebanon. The most influential Christian Zionist programs in American society, in particular for viewers in general, are the following: Division Hour, program hosted by Zionist revered Billy Graham, is one of the earliest religious programs that began in 1950 and broadcast from 900 television and radio stations. On another radio station around the world, a day of the Discovery program, also by Reverend Billy Graham, a daily program watched by more than 7 million families. The religious scholar Awakening Hour by the Zionist priest Charles Fair are one of the most famous old Yes, programs. It started in 1925, transmitting from Los Angeles and reached 456 radio stations. In the early 1940s, a study in the Word program by Zionist Pastor Jimmy Swaggart is a daily program watched by over 4.5 million families each month. In one of his episodes, he stated, "I feel that the United States of America is connected to Israel by an umbilical barcode. These ties, I believe, date back to long before the birth of the United States of America, just as the Judeo-Christian concept dates back to Abraham and God's promise to him. A promise that I believe includes the United States of America because God still says, I bless those who bless Israel and I curse those who curse it, and this is a lie. And it's God grace the United States of America that it is still strong today, and I'm confident that this is due to the fact that it stands behind Israel, and I pray to God that it will always remain a support of Israel. May Allah destroy them both." Allah Musta'an, wallah, it is very long, yeah. The 700 Clubs program, or 700 Club by Christian Zionist Pat Robertson, which is daily program watched by more than 6.1 million families every month and broadcast for 90 minutes. It is given this name due to the number of viewers in the program. Weekly Crusade by Zionist Pastor Jimmy Swaggart, a weekly program watched by more than 9.5 million families every month. However, program by the Zionist Pastor Robert Skula, which is a weekly program watched by more than 7.64 million families every month. This Zionist priest mentioned in one of his programs the text of the message he received from one of the viewers of his program in 1979, in which he said, "Every morning on Sundays, my wife and I sit in front of the TV and we listen to your program while we are having tea, and now that I am away from home, I will listen to your program while I'm sitting in my hotel room while my wife is listening to you at home." This indicates the passion of Christian listeners for the programs of these evangelical priests. Glorify the Lord, program by Zionist Pastor Jim Packer, or Jim Becker, which is a daily program watched by more than 5.77 million families every month. Except the Miracle program by ex-Christian Pastor Oral Roberts as a weekly program watched by more than 5.773 million families every month. The Jerry Falwell Live program by Zionist Pastor Jerry Falwell, which is a weekly program every Sunday, is evening received by 34 million homes. And Hour from the Gospel of the Time program, also by the Zionist Pastor Jerry Falwell, is a daily program is watched by the more than 5.6 million families every month, and its program is broadcast on the 392 video stations and 500 audio stations. Kennedy Copeland program and review by Zionist Pastor Kennedy Copeland. Copeland is a weekly program watched by more than 4.92 million families every month. Discovery Day program by Zionist Pastor Paul Van Goda is a weekly program viewed by more than 4.75 million families every month. The Aywa. Allahu Musta'an, Wallahi. Subhanallah.